Hi everybody, it's Dara. I hope this lasts. If not, I'm gonna have to record a video about my Neptune experience in Rome so far. Basically, of course you have jet lag, and so nothing's normal, and I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd sleep till 11, or I was up till 2, and then I'd wake up at 5 and sleep every day at 3, and it was really not. And over the weekend it was a Scorpio full moon, and there's a lot of reasons why Scorpio in my natal chart has to do with um, my shadow. And so I came to realize that it was not the experience I thought it was going to be. It wasn't like this, yes, I'm free, I'm in Rome and it's fun. It was like the opposite. I was tired, I was out of it, I was isolated. I chose this amazing Airbnb in Trastevere. It's not smack in the middle of things, it's beautiful, but the Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I couldn't post videos, and the shower head and the heat, the hot water, and there were all of these things that were just not going right, and I felt weird and isolated and lonely. And I will tell you, I never feel lonely. It was really intense and just like strange. Usually I go away and I'm meeting people, and so I was like, it's so interesting that I know Neptune, and I was like, I still chose to do a Neptune line anyway. For those of you who don't know, what I'm referring to is astrogeography, the astrology of place. And it was fascinating to me that I chose it. Now, I don't only have a Neptune line here, I have a moon's node descending. So there's karmic and fated relationships. So finally, after a few days when I was like, this is not going, and believe me, I love Rome. Like, it's the most gorgeous city, and I love the city itself, but the energy of what I was feeling was not what I was expecting. Here's why. There's a number of reasons. It's loaded. So I hope you guys can hear me and I'm connected. It's kind of connected, I believe, is because I got on the phone with my business consultant, Heath, and I was like, it's just not, like, I'm not having an easy time. I love Rome, but I'm not meeting people. It feels weird. It doesn't, he's like, well, there was some, in our session, there was a past life. Like, he doesn't just work business, he works with your spirit and helps you align your business for your own self, for what's right for you. But first he does something called Akashic Records. He looks in, and he had seen a past life of mine that had to do with priests, that had to do with me being an oracle. And it turns out, we got on the phone, and I'm so grateful we did, because I believe that recognition of what's going on is part of the plan to make things better. Like, our souls want to, if they choose hard lines or challenging lines, it's because there's something, and I've said this, there's something for us to learn from that experience. Like, we didn't just oops land in a place, we chose it. We didn't oops just get born onto a line, we chose that line for our soul's evolution. And so I was very aware that I chose a Neptune line, and I'm like, here's the thing, if you try and be seen on a Neptune line, it's going to be hard. So I quickly said, after my session with him, and he identified a past life, the past life that we talked about in our first session is up for review here in Rome. And it's not an easy one, but it's something that will help me get to my next level of evolution and greatness in my life. Because when there's something unresolved, like a past life thing that's still running game in this life, then it will prevent you. It's almost like a cap or a ceiling, or something preventing you, and you can't really see it because it's living deep within you from the past. So it has to be dealt with and cut, and I know that I'm here to clear some karma. So Rome itself isn't bad. Rome is amazing, but there's some heavy energy for me to work through. And it's very clear to me that that's true also because of the moon's node descending. So the moon's node is karma, fated relationships, and things to work out. And so it's a feeling of having been here before, which I have. When I went to Rome 29 years ago, I was startled. Like I was literally like, this feels like home. And it does feel like home still, but now I know that it feels like home from a lifetime that wasn't so easy. And we can talk about that in another video, but here's the things, the signs that I had. I was like, I'm usually meeting people. I usually don't isolate myself. This apartment's a little off the way. Amazing for a couple and amazing if you want to retreat and be not in the thick of things. But I am a person who likes to meet people, and it's so interesting that I put myself in an apartment that maybe had spotty Wi-Fi, that the bathtub, I was having trouble getting the hot water running out of the bathtub faucet. So and he came to fix it. Fabio, the most amazing super host, like love the apartment and I'd highly recommend it. So he came to fix it and I was not sure that it was still working. I thought the tub faucet, this is a bath Neptune thing. So the bath water couldn't fill from the tub faucet. I thought I had to fill it from like the shower head that unhooked like on one of those hoses. So I go to fill it, the tub, and I walk away and all of a sudden the water is going everywhere, all over my stuff, and I'm like, that is so Neptunian, like water's going everywhere. And I was like, all right, I'm having a bath situation, I'm having Wi-Fi is not working. He came here today, and so here's the miracle. When we know the planetary lines that we're dealing with, and we know what our lessons are in them, or what nutrients we need in them, or what evolution we need, then magic can happen. So Fabio just came here today and showed me that the bathtub water, he had fixed it and it's fine. He goes, you just have to wait a minute. And then he's getting me a booster for the Wi-Fi so that I do have connection. But in realizing that I was isolated and not being seen because I couldn't post my videos, like I was coming here with this Jupiter energy and I was gonna post and share, and then I was gonna finish my course, and I got like the big Neptunian like dunk underwater, like, no, you're not. And then I realized, okay, well, I either have a choice. I can leave to go to another line, or I can stay here and take what Neptune has to teach me. So I canceled my sessions for today because I need the Wi-Fi to be working beautifully so that there's no stress in hearing me or the other person. And then I said, all right, I'm gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna lie back in the waters and not try to swim against stream. I was literally trying to swim upstream in Neptunian waters. So it's not that you can't, someone messaged me, it's not that you can't go to a Neptune line. It's that when you go, consider what you're trying to do. Consider what you want to accomplish. Consider what moment in your life you're in, and know that it's not going to be the place to be seen. It's going to Okay, we're on again. So I'm so grateful to Heath. You could go to heathellis.com and see what he's up to, because he's a seer and he could see and match what I was experiencing. And I just was too underwater to even see it. And it was kind of like being pulled up a little bit. All right, let's look around. I knew I had a choice to make. Like, we can take ourselves and leave a place that is causing us discomfort, or we can say, okay, what's the lesson in here? I chose it. I know about a Neptune line, but I thought it was going to tap me more into my intuition and creativity and music and arts, and I got like the dunk. I got like the Neptune dunk, and I was like, what? But it made me realize that obviously astrogeography is a real thing, and that who I am in California on my Jupiter line is different. There will be different energies that I'm swimming in, literally. And I call it that because when you're on in one place and you have one line, 2 lines, 3 lines, you're swimming in those energies, and you go to a different place and you're swimming in those energies. So I'm literally swimming in Neptune, and because I'm west of the line, it's in my first house. So Neptune is me. Like, I'm like, if it were east of the line, it would be the 12th house, and it would be more comfortable in Neptune in my spirituality. But it's like in me, and I'm like lost and loopy. So I've decided to not push and make videos, to not do sessions, to really immerse myself in the creativity, right? The arts, the music, beautiful food, and see what comes up for me creatively, and write about this old karma, because there is you know, in a past life here, I was an oracle whose word was used. I wanted my word to be used for the good of the people, and it was not. It was used for monetary purposes, and I kind of gave up speaking, and I was like, I kind of shut down. So now it's a big thing. Like, I remember periods in my life, in this life, where I once in a while, I share so much on YouTube, and I care about everybody so much, and I want everybody to be happy. And I remember once in a while, I'd think like, why bother? Like, I'd have this wave of like, does it even matter? Is it even helping people? Is it too, like, is it going to be heard? And is it going to matter? And I remember that's been like a theme, not often, but when it comes, it's like big. It's like, so if I at all have anything in me that's shutting down a piece of me being a seer, then I want to deal with that. I want to look at it. I want to move past it, so that I know that my word matters, and that if I see things, I can say them, and they will be used for the good. It will be for the good. So it's kind of huge and amazing. So I'm grateful to Heath. And I'm also grateful to the fact that I just went with my intuition. And I told you guys before I left, I didn't choose based on astrogeography. I chose based on where my heart wanted to go, where I felt the pull. It wasn't academic. I didn't say, oh, I'm academically choosing a Neptune line. Why would I? I spent 10 years on one, and really had to fight to not be in one. So it makes me chuckle. I just remembered loving Rome. I remembered Rome felt like home. And so now I'm like, so our intuition knows more than we can come up with academically in our heads. Like, you can say, oh, I'm going to do this X, Y, Z, but if you follow your heart and your intuition, it's going to lead you somewhere you need to go without knowing you need to go. And now I can say, okay, Neptune, I'm going to float with this. I'm going to not swim against the stream. I'm not going to try and see more than I should see. I'm going to take the treasures from under the water, and I'm going to touch them and see them and swim with them. I'm not going to sign any contracts on this Neptune line. I'm not going to try to be seen or work too hard to, more of a midheaven, like if I went to Lisbon, I have Jupiter on the midheaven. That means that if I have a body of work that I want people to see, that's a great line. But maybe Neptune is a great place for me to internalize and to work through my next level and to be creative with my next body of work. Like, it's a good place for me to tap into my intuition about what I might say when I film the next course. So it can't be filmed here. I'm very clear on that. There will be no proper filming of a body of work. There will be more like creativity and inspiration and insight, because this is a place to see. Neptune is a place to see, which is why I wasn't afraid to come here. It's not Saturn. It's not dangerous. It's not Mars, the descendant. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's an intro to astrogeography life tool that I made that's very easy, and will give you like just an intro to what astrogeography is, so you can understand how to look for the lines, yours and anyone else's. And so now I really feel like I am like on a journey. I'm on like an adventure where I'm not just saying, oh, I'm only staying at home where it's nice, or I'm only going to my really nice lines. I'm going to experience all of them and share. Except I won't probably go to a Mars descending line, but who knows? Maybe I will. AstroGeo travels, baby. My number one tip for something, what was it? Oh, I didn't see your comments. Yes, Seagull, as I adjust to being underwater and I realize that's what's happening in any agenda that has any Jupiter like energy, it doesn't really go here. I have to adjust myself. So 100%. So after identifying this with Keith, after identifying that, oh, I may not have Wi-Fi, like I was thinking maybe I'll fly out of here, or maybe I'll switch to a hotel in the middle of everything so I can be, or maybe I'll have Wi-Fi. And then I was like, no, I mean, Fabio was so nice. He's like, you can leave anytime, I'll refund you, but let me come and try and fix things. And I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to stay. I'm supposed to feel this. And guess what? Last night was the first night I slept through the night without waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I am over jet lag, and I am beautifully floating in the water. So I'm gonna go have a beautiful matcha. And because of the Wi-Fi going out, I was able to find this cafe, Barnum Cafe, that has matcha and avocado toast. So it was not easy, I will tell you that, because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, today's Tuesday, I was like, I was seriously like, what is going on here? This is the weirdest, saddest, loneliest. The Scorpio full moon didn't help. I looked at my relocated chart for relocation is a different way to do astrogeography. It's not doing astrogeography, it's just seeing what planets are in which houses depending on where you are. And I have Scorpio rising here, and all my shadow stuff is coming up. Really, not all of it, but a big chunk of this past life in Rome, where I was not able to be seen. I couldn't be heard. I was almost like hidden. I was used for people in charge and who had money and power, and yeah, I believe that was a devastating one. And I had flashbacks. Like, I'm definitely tapped in because I had like this unbelievable wave of like past life recognition come over me when I was walking in. I'm in Trastevere, and I was walking in Monte, going to this little vegan place, Aromaticas, and I was having a hard time getting there. I had to go through throngs of visitors and tourists, and it was like on a Saturday. So if you're feeling alone and lonely and ending up on a Saturday, I have a theory on if you're traveling alone, and I never get lonely, so this was a new experience for me. I was like, Monday through Friday in Italy, you're gonna see plenty of people walking around alone. Saturday and Sunday, you're with families and lovers, and then there's tourists. And anyway, I got caught up. It was so weird. I was following my Google Maps, and I ended up at the Roman Forum, and I was like, it felt like heavy, and I was like, does Google Maps want me to walk around to get to that restaurant? That's crazy. Like, I was like, this can't be right. So I walked forward. This is so Neptune. I walked forward, and I was like, this can't be right. And then I walked back. And I'm looking at the map. I walk forward, and there's soldiers there with like machine guns. And I was like, ugh. And then I walk back, and then I walk forward. And finally, I walked back enough to talk to like this little booth, these two men in this booth. And I said, I'm trying to get to Via Corsi. And they were like, and I go, and my map wants me to go that way. And they laughed. They were like, no, it will take you a long time. So they said, go up the hill, get to the top of the hill, go down the hill, go right. And in doing that, I ended up in throngs on a Saturday afternoon of every kind of tourist going to see all of the ruins and everything. And it was like a scene. So I finally made it. My feet hurt. I was tired. I was like, I made it to this restaurant. I was so close to it, and I still couldn't find it. Like, I just couldn't figure out how to get to this little inner road that it was on. It was like, but I'm 2 minutes away. I have to make it. I made it there, and I was like, oh, I had to take an Uber home. I was just like, this is just like, it wasn't easy. But now it's almost like I'm teaching myself a new way of being. There's one way of operating on a Jupiter line. There's one way I've been operating my whole life. And now I get to see, like, take a look at a piece that was causing me to be, I'd say, crippled in some way. Like, if you believe that your voice doesn't matter deep within from another past lifetime, or that you won't be heard, or that why bother, or that it's going to be used, is it going to create good? Like, will it be good enough? Will it matter? Thank you for saying that. And whatever I'm going to think about this past life, I have to go, like, I decided I'm going to meditate and tap into it, because I think I'm going to be able to see it. It's not going to be pretty. It's crippling, like something that's from the past that needs to be resolved. If it's not resolved, it kind of cripples us in some way. Much like I had this hip problem on and off for a number of years, and it goes away sometimes and it's never there. And then I noticed that it had to do with my feet. It was really weird. My feet weren't flexing all the way. And so I learned how to walk, if I was walking far, kind of like clenching my feet so that they didn't flex. And I was like, I noticed on these cobblestones that I was like, I feel like I'm crippled in some way. Like, this is not, I want to be able to walk and flex my feet. So all of a sudden I slowed down and I was like, just go slow. Because the reason I did it is because one day, or a couple different times, I was walking and I flexed my feet normally, and a shooting pain went through my toe that made me never want to like flex my foot while I was walking fast and far. So I was like kind of gripping my shoes when I walked, and I'm like, this is just not going to work all over Rome. So I slowed down yesterday after talking with Heath, after realizing what was going on, and I slowed down enough to flex. I was like, you can do this, and maybe if you do it slow, it's not going to do that shooting pain thing. And it didn't. It was a little uncomfortable on one foot at first, but I was like, oh my God, I got to take this deep breath of like, because I was like, what? I can't walk around cities. How am I going to travel? I love to walk miles and miles. So it's teaching myself how to walk again and how to be again without something crippling. So that's symbolic for past life stuff, family of origin stuff that's lodged or stuck. And sometimes we choose a planetary line to help us free ourselves. So Neptune is freeing in a way. It's like you don't have to care about what's going on above ground. You don't have to push. You don't have to show. You don't have to, you just have to be. You just have to be able to float and to trust. And so that's what I'm going to do now. And this is a great... So don't be afraid of Neptune. Would I ever live on a Neptune line permanently? No, probably not. Don't think I'd do that. But certainly visiting one is A-okay. Yes, I believe, Suzette, astrogeography would help with working through depression. So would astrology. And most definitely, the first thing I look at is just seeing where someone's living. I do intuitive sessions for people, and sometimes people feel stuck or they want to know which direction. And the first thing I look at is what lines they're dealing with, where they're living, because you got to know. So yes, it can help. Thank you, Rachel. My words matter so much. Transitioning is not for the faint of heart. It's not, because I was like, I gotta get out of here. This sucks. It's not really Rome, but it's my history with Rome. And if I can, we can't rewrite the history, but if I can take a look at it and say, okay, that's the past, and how cool that I was a seer, how cool that I was an oracle, and how cool that my information was so on point that people needed to use it. But I don't have to be that trapped, secret, kept to the side person who helped somebody else in power. And we're going to talk about that. That is a big thing, and that's what my next course is on. So we won't get into that yet, but because I want you guys to be able to know and learn it and then go, that's what's happening. So this is a big part of that, my next course, this thing that I'm experiencing. So thank you, Marty. So anyway, I wanted to tell you that it was awful for a number of days, just like really sleepy and yeah, weird, lonely, isolated, strange. Like I couldn't sleep at normal hours. I was just out of this world, I think, like not of this world. And I try to go out, but I felt like really invisible. And I feel like those of you who live on a Neptune line, I got so many messages on Instagram from people who were like, that's me, that's what I've been living on. I've had 40 years of jet lag. Because at first I was like, is it jet lag or is it Neptune? Because I love Rome and I have the moon's note here and it's like home, but it's home because there's some karma here, big fat past life. So I'm gonna go more into that. I gotta meditate and tap in. I did get a wave of when I was walking to Aromaticus of I had a relationship here when I was 21, and I ended up just living, like being with him for 2 months, and my friend and I were traveling and she went home and I stayed with him, and it was like a life-changing experience. And I got a wave that he and 2 other men that I have been with were part of that lifetime. And it all made sense. I was like, oh, it was like click, 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 click. Oh my gosh, that so makes sense. That's the energy of what they are in this lifetime, whether they're trying to make it up to me or they recognize me. I knew that they recognized me. So feeling that in Austin now, looking forward to an Astro Geo session. It will help, Marty. And I'll use my intuition and help you. So I want you to know that if you are on a challenging line, let's say you are on a Neptune line, it's best to go with the flow, right? Like adjust yourself accordingly. If you're trying to get fame and recognition for what you do, not gonna happen. You gotta travel to communicate with another line. And I explained that in my course. Just delve into the arts here, right? Be intuitive, like dreamy, floaty. That's what's being asked for of me. So I got some old karma to fix in my world, and some art to go see, and some floaty experience. So I'm going to go outside and roam in Roma. I'm going to roam in Rome, and that's something I love to do, is just roam around. Yesterday I did it after this beautiful conversation where I felt seen and heard, because I was like suffering like alone and I was like, this is so weird. And then when he identified that it was the life that he was talking about in our first session, I was like, it kind of cleared something. It still didn't make it clear. I knew I had decisions to make. Do I leave? Do I switch hotels? But then I got signs after that everything was okay, that I just needed to adjust and see deeper, and to go with the flow, and to stay in this apartment, and to be where I put myself. That's basically it. Like, be where I chose, be where I put myself. And when it's time to go, I will know it's not time yet. So I'm gonna go love Rome. I'm gonna roam in Rome. I'm gonna go back to my matcha place. And there were so many great like lessons, because I didn't have Wi-Fi. I found matcha, and I also made 2 new friends, and I got out to be with people, which is something I personally need. Like, I like to be social, and so that usually I have, like, when I live somewhere, there's people who want to meet me from YouTube or Instagram, and there were 2 or 3 people, lovely ladies, but they're not in town now. So I think I wasn't supposed to be busy socializing and having fun and being seen and all of that, because like my Jupiter expansive self, because I was supposed to feel the feels. So I got to, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have had that conversation with Heath and recognized maybe the gravity of the past life that needed to be looked at. And when you do look at something, it can shift like that. Fabio came to fix the Wi-Fi, and the tub is fixed, and I have somewhere I want to go now and have some fun, and it's starting to shift already. So thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the love. And I am gonna see you guys soon. I'm not gonna worry about posting or doing anything. I just wanted to share that Neptune is real, and it sometimes can feel trippy. I think trippy is the word. It's like a trippy experience, like trippy. But there's messages when you slow down enough to float. and to be in the water, you'll receive messages. I think I just came here with all this Jupiter, like, rah, rah. And then I got like a dunk. Like, all right, you're down, you're under. Let's see what it's like here. So this is Astro Geo Travel, man. Astro Geo Travel. I feel like and I'm glad I'm not just going to like happy pretty lines. I'm glad that I get to experience this beautiful experience. I really am. So lovely matcha. I'm so excited. I'll see you guys soon. Aw, I would love to have a matcha with you. You know when it's time, Rachel, to move. Like, it's not time for me to leave. I've only been here less than a week, and I need to like immerse myself. But you know when it's time to go, when it just becomes too much. And it's so good to know the astrogeography